What is up, guys? My name is Isaiah Hill, and I am concluding my review of the Back to the Future trilogy. Yes, today I'm talking about part 3, and I'm on time! And now this is one that I've been giving a lot of thought about. How to really conclude it, because I was thinking about it really hard. And I said, you know what, let's just go by the formula, like how I've been doing it, and let's just go from there. So, Back to the Future Part 3 stars Michael J. Fox, Christopher Lloyd, Leah Thompson, and Tom Wilson. And it's once again directed by Robert Zemeckis. Stories by Robert Zemeckis and Bob Gale, who wrote the screenplay and is also a producer. Back to the Future Part 3 immediately begins with the climax of the first movie and the ending of the second movie. And we get and it's nice to see that because it is pretty interesting. Like, it pretty much just ties it all together. And the thing is, like, with this one, it just combines it, like, where you're like, okay, now this is the timeline. And the film opens like with Marty's like telling Doc that he's came back from the future, and Doc faints. Then you get to the credits, the Hill Valley Thunderstorm, and you'll also notice that ZZ Top is doing some of the music in this, and that is awesome. Okay, I'm not a huge ZZ Top fan, but I do like their music. You see Marty bring Doc home, and you see like everything's just like the letters out to dry, their clothes are out to dry. The hoverboard, Marty is like resting his feet on it. And Doc is awakened by Howdy Doody. And he does he records like what happened last night, but he doesn't remember how he got home. But he says the thing I remember the most is that Marty said that he has come back from the future. And Doc gets so scared and he flies back. It's like, and Marty's like, no, calm down, Doc. It's me, it's Marty. And Doc's like, no, it can't be you. I just sent you back to the future. And Marty tells him what happened. And Doc's like, 1885? If the me in the future is not in the past, how can you be so sure? And Marty's like, you sent me a letter. And Doc's going through it, and they have instructions on where the DeLorean is from like when it got struck by lightning. And Doc tells Marty to not go look for him because he's perfectly happy in 1885 and he loves it. And because now he's a blacksmith. And Marty's like guilty, but Doc's like, oh, it could have been worse. I could have ended in the Dark Ages. And they follow the map to like where the DeLorean is buried. And it's so cool, like seeing them like go underground to look for the DeLorean. And they find it, and there's like instructions on like how to fix it. There's all sorts of stuff. And while they're bringing out the DeLorean, I was like, you think I should go to the library and check myself out? On history books? Marty's like, I don't know, Doc. You're the one who's saying that no one should know too much about their own destiny. Doc's like, yeah, I know too much. And Doc's dog notices the tombstone, and it says, here lies Emmett Brown. And they find out, like, the future Doc was killed in the West, shot in the back by Blueford Tannen over a matter of $80, and by his beloved Claire. She'll come in later, I promise. They go to the library to check out, and Blueford Tannen was nicknamed Mad Dog Tannen because he ruled like so much, and he was basically a killer. He killed people. And excuse me. And Doc shows him like the McFly family, and it shows that Marty's great grandfather William is in it. And as they're going through like all like the archives, they find a picture of Doc in 1885 in front of a clock, and the clock is very special because it's the clock tower. It's a clock, and the time says 8:08. Which is kind of cool because 88 miles per hour. And I believe if you look very carefully, like on the clock. I don't think you can see it, but it says 10:04, and that's when lightning struck the clock. Marty tells Doc that I'm going back to 1885 and bringing you home once you fix the DeLorean. And Marty's clothes is hilarious whenever you first see it because Doc dresses him up in how he sees the westerns. And Marty's like, I know, Doc, Clint Eastwood would never wear anything like this. And Doc's like, Clint who? It's like, oh yeah, that's right, you don't know him yet. But if you look to the to the side, I'm sorry about that, the camera was tilting. If you look to like the movies that are showing in the like drive-in theater, you see there's two films. I forget what they really are, but those Clint Eastwood's first two movies. And Marty and Doc are like setting up this plan for Marty to go back, and it's in a drive-in, and it's so cool like how they're doing it. And Marty, when he goes back in time, he is meets by a tribe of Native Americans, and he is chased. And Marty finds the cave where the other DeLorean was buried, or the one he thinks. There, that's better. Sorry, the camera keeps tilting. And when he's in the cave, like the Native Americans go over, then Marty goes up and he hears a little bit of rumble, and he sees it's the cavalry. And Marty jumps back down and he looks at the DeLorean. And what's interesting is there's a bow and arrow in like the side of the DeLorean. And when Marty takes out like the picture of Doc and like his hat, and he looks under it and his boots. I forgot about that. He looks under it, and he ripped the fuel line. And then we meet a bear. Marty gets chased by a bear. And every time when I'm watching, when Marty just screams at the bear, like when he's just screaming at him, the bear just screams really back at him. Like it just chases him. And Marty, he falls like down a hill and he lands through a fence and he meets his relative of Seamus McFly, who is his great-great-grandfather. And let me tell you, Marty should probably be like have like severious like head trauma because he has hit the pavement hard after getting hit by a car. He's been hit in the head by one of Biff's cronies, and here he goes right through a fence and he hits his head pretty hard and he loses consciousness. Then the film does the mom, is that you? And it's between Michael J. Fox and Leah Thompson. Which is interesting is not only does she play his mother here, she plays his wife. Pretty interesting. And the thing is, like, we get introduced to her, Seamus, and their new baby, William, who is the first McFly to be born in America. And we get like a background, like how Maggie's like kind of this is kind of concerned about this guy, but Seamus is like, he doesn't seem that bad of a guy. William seems to like him. William doesn't like strangers, and it ends with his great grandfather peeing on him. Then Marty goes down to Hill Valley, which is now in the west, and everything looks so cool. Like they're working on the clock tower. There's undertaking. There's a butcher. There's like what else is there? There's the butchers. There's the marshal's office. There's like all sorts of things. And Marty goes into the saloon, and it's basically it goes from being to the cafe from the 1950s to being the aerobics like place in the first film. Then it goes to being the cafe 80s. Before all that, it was saloon. Then we're introduced to Mad Dog Tannen, played by Tom Wilson. And this chase is actually pretty intense, mainly because this involves an actual hanging. In the first films, like, it was carefully coordinated, and they all are. I'm not going to say that none of them are, but here, like, Michael J. Fox is actually hung. Like, when you see him, like, dangling, like, kicking, he's actually hung. And while Marty's hanging, Doc rescues him by shooting a rifle. Him and and Mad Dog Tannen get into like an argument, and it's ridiculous because it's over a matter of $80, and I know that was a lot of money back then, but like $5 for the whiskey and $75 for the horse that threw its shoe that Doc worked on, and Blue Tan's like, you better watch your back because you're gonna get a bullet in it, which was on Doc's gravestone, shot in the back by Buford Tannen over a matter of $80. Then we are introduced. Now we're taking to Doc's place where he has this machine that makes ice. And as we are later introduced to the mayor, who was originally supposed to be played by Ronald Reagan, but he declined. But they find out that the person coming is Clara Clayton, whose name happens to be very similar on the gravestone. Then we're like, all right. Then Doc's like, well, we're gonna have with Clayton. We'll have to wait. Let's get to the DeLorean and get out of here. Marty's like, well, I tore the fuel line, so we're gonna have to get some gas. And Doc's like, you mean we're out of gas? And Marty's like, well, yeah, we got Mr. Fusion, don't we? And Doc explains like how the car ran on regular gasoline the entire time, and how they're going to be stuck there. And it cuts to them like being pulled by horses, and Marty's like, we're looking at it, he's like 24. And so they're going 24 miles per hour. He's like, Don's like, no, you smart, even the fastest horses in the world cannot even when I get you up to 80 miles per hour. And they use liquor to like try and turn on the time machine. And while they do it, they the back of it flies out, like the back of the DeLorean. I forget what it's called, so I'm sorry. Like I forget like what the name is. And Doc is like, well, it'll take me to a month to build. And Doc's like trying to come up with all these like scenarios, even going as far as say we're gonna wait till winter. And Doc's like, we can't push it, we can't pull it, we can't we can't drop it down something, but we can push it up to 80 miles per hour somehow. And we hear the train, and the train comes. And here's the interesting, while all that's going on, if you look in the back, you can see the clock getting dropped off. And the conductor tells them, like, everything, like, if you had no cars behind you and you get the fire hot, like, very, very hot, then, yeah, the train could get up to, like, 90 miles per hour. And they're going through, like, the map, and they see the train. And they're like, oh, all we gotta do is just go through this bridge. And if you look behind them, as you can see Clara at the train station. And they go, and Marty's like, but wait, Doc, according to this map, there is no bridge. And where they're going there is nothing. Like, the train's not even complete. The track's not complete. The bridge is not complete. And they're like, oh, we'll be here before the DeLorean even goes off. But what about the locomotive? It'll be a spectacular wreck. Too bad no one will be around to see it. Which kind of is a joke because we will see it, but not the characters. And then we hear a woman get scream help, and Doc and Marty go to rescue her. And then we find out who the woman is that they rescue is Clara. And the thing is, like, now they get back home, and Doc's slowly falling in love with Claire. This is like where I stated, like, in the last video, that this film is more Doc's film. Like, the first film is developing Marty's character, like, really, like, showing, like, who he is and what he's been doing. The second film's a buddy movie, and this film is, like, where Doc is like, okay, Doc's getting his own movie, practically. Doc is falling head over heels for Claire. And we find out, like, that, Doc says, oh, it's a good thing that Clara Clayton did not fall into Clayton Ravine. And Marty says, Clayton Ravine was named after a school teacher who fell into a ravine some 100 years ago. And Doc's like, 100 years ago? That was this year. And they're like, yeah, well, we always think about teachers falling into the ravine. And realize that she was supposed to die. And Marty's like, well, they won't name the ravine after her. Let's just get DeLorean and get out of here. And Doc's like, I never should have invented that time machine. It causes nothing but trouble. And now we're going through like where they're doing the experiment, like at Doc's place, like what's gonna happen, and you see like during the film, like during like while they're doing this, like how they're talking about what they're going to do, and Marty's like, "What is this point of no return?" That's our fail-safe point because at any time we can stop the locomotive because once they pass the windmill, it's the future or bust, and they go through a demonstration, which is basically echoing the first film, and Claire shows up. Claire is saying, "Oh yeah, when my telescope went off, I think it came focus." And Doc is like, "I love it. Like, let's talk about it." And Marty's like interrupting it, and they go to the festival because now the festival is going to be the biggest thing in town. And at the festival, they start the clock, and Doc's like, "Oh, this spectacular event, Marty's like, too bad I didn't bring my camera." And they see a picture being taken, and they're like, let's join in on it. And Doc's like, "Too bad no one will be able to see it." Smile, Doc. And if you look at the clock, it's 8:08, 88 miles per hour. Then a cameo by ZZ Top. It's pretty cool, and there's the festival is so fun. Everyone's having fun. Marty runs into Seamus and Maggie, and then Marty shows off his gun skills. Um, and what's funny is like when the guy's asking him like, "Where did you learn to shoot like that?" He's like 7-Eleven. And Doc is dancing with Claire. They're having fun. Bluford Tannen shows up, and he's starting stuff like usual. But then you meet Marshall Strickland. Uh, Mr. Strickland's like grandfather, I believe, or father. I really forget. Excuse me. And then like he's more loving. He's more fun than than Mr. Strickland. And Doc is like dancing with Claire, and Mad Dog is threatening to shoot Doc unless he dances with Claire, and Claire defends herself, and Marty saves Doc by throwing uh, a frisbee pie plate at Buford Tannen, like hands like where he misses shooting him. And Marty, continuing with the theme that he doesn't like being called like a chicken, coward, or yellow in this case, agrees to fight with Tannen. And the marshal shows up. Is like, "What's going on here? Are you causing trouble?" There will no be brawling. If it is, it's like 15 days in jail. And he's like, "Come on, guys, it's a party. Let's have some fun." His ZZ Top does the traditional like guitar swing, and then it resumes. And we later find out like Doc wants to spend time with Claire. Um, then like Marty's family says you should have just walked away and it would have been a problem. And then we find out the story that Seamus had a brother named Martin McFly, and that he was killed because he didn't like being called a coward, and he was killed because of it. Then we later see Doc and Claire like share a romantic moment, and it's really sweet. And Doc is falling in love with her. It's too late; he is falling in love. Then the next day, Marty's being hailed like as a hero. Like everyone's praying for him that he's gonna beat Tannen. Doc's warning him like, you could get killed. And then we cut to where Doc's like, "There's no denying it. I'm in love with Clara." So Marty's like, "We don't belong here, neither one of us. This tombstone could still be in your future." And Doc's trying to defend it by saying, "In my heart, I want to be with Clara." But Marty's like, "Listen to your brain, then your heart." And Marty's like, "Why don't we just take her with her?" But Doc's like, "No. As soon as we get back to the future, where I'm going to destroy the time machine and cause us nothing but trouble." Doc is heartbroken. He goes to tell Clara, and it's very heartbreaking to see Doc get slapped in the face and yelled at because he tried to admit the truth. Doc goes to the bar and he asks for whiskey, and he starts rambling on about the future, and people think that he's just crazy. So while that's happening, Bluford Tannen wakes up his not family, his cronies to go after Marty, who is known as Clint Eastwood. And Marty goes to find Doc in the bar, and Doc drinks the whiskey but passes out. Tannen shows up and he challenges Marty, and it leads to probably one of the most satisfying defeats of the Tannins, because he falls in manure again, but this time he gets knocked. But then it kind of does like a punch to the face and he falls into manure. But the climax, this steals the whole movie. Like, it's amazing. Like, Claire's just found out she's in love with Doc. She wants to be with him. Um, Marty is in DeLorean getting pushed by the train. Doc's in the train conducting it. And it is insane. Like, so much work went into this. And here they are, like, you're like, oh, are they going to make it? Are they going to make it? And Claire nearly dies. But Marty saves both Doc and Claire, and they ride off. Marty saves him with his hoverboard, and Marty goes back in time alone. And in 1985, the DeLorean gets destroyed by a train. And Marty's like, well, when it's destroyed, is how you wanted it, Doc. So, and then he goes back home, everything's back to normal. He goes to get Jennifer, and then he prevents a car accident that had a bad effect on his future in the second movie. The film ends with Marty seeing Doc again. And that's it. The DeLorean flies off and goes back in time. I really love this trilogy. My personal favorite will probably be the first one. What I love about the Back to the Future movies is that they are so unique and they're different, they're unpredictable, and they're so amazing. Now, time for the review. This film gets an amazing. The second one gets an amazing. So an automatic amazing. Back to the Future Part 3 gets an amazing. Undeniably, it's that good for me. Back to the Future has been parodied. It has been talked about. People are still talking about it, like right now. And people want to know, like, when is there going to be another? And stay tuned for Friday, because I'm going to be reviewing the Back to the Future game on PlayStation 4. And if you guys are interested in that, please let me know. And if you guys want to see me do a Let's Play, really let me know by leaving a like and subscribing and comment. I enjoy talking about one of my favorite trilogies of all time. I enjoy sharing with you guys. Back to the Future Part 3 was filmed back-to-back with Part 2. And it was amazing, like, how they did so many things. The films are so fresh, and they feel amazing. This is going to be the longest review because I really went in depth. Everything about this film I love. This was my mother's favorite. This is my brother's favorite. And thank you all very much for taking the time out of your day to watch this. Special thanks to everyone who has watched it. Special thanks to everyone that has viewed. And I would like for some people to join in on the reviews, because I really like making these. Thank you all very much. Be expecting more reviews to come. Comment down below what the next review should be. And thank you very much. My name is Isaiah Hill. This has been the Back to the Future trilogy, an automatic amazing. And I will see you guys tomorrow, when I'm going to be talking about The Green Mile, that stars Tom Hanks, based on the serial novel by Stephen King. My name is Isaiah Hill. Thank you for taking the time out of your day to watch the videos. If you enjoyed it, leave a like. If you want to see more, subscribe. And if you want me to review on something else, comment down below. Thank you very much. My name is Isaiah Hill. Signing off, guys.